Good morning, JBLM. Happy Wednesday morning. Welcome to the August Garrison Community Update. We got a packed house today, a packed agenda as always. Thank you to the Red Cross for providing us coffee. We appreciate that very much. Also, as a reminder, we do record this, so if you have a question, we do have Steve who has the mic. Please wait until you have the microphone to ask your question so we can be sure to capture it. The slides and the video will be posted on the Garrison, MWR, and DPFR websites by tomorrow afternoon. So look for those on those websites. And at this time, I am pleased to introduce our new Garrison Commander, Colonel Skye Duncan, for a couple welcoming remarks.
Outstanding. Thank you. Thank you, Alicia. My wife, Victoria, will be here in just a second, and I'll stand up and wave and say hi. So thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Skye Duncan. My wife, Victoria, and I have 3 daughters, and you'll see us kind of floating around the base. We have a change of command for the Logistics Readiness Squadron this Friday, and then we have the Air Base Group on the 19th, so they'll definitely be at those. The C-17 rededication ceremony was awesome. And so the girls loved going to that as well, of course. So thank you very much for everybody for coming out for this. A great opportunity to share information across the entire base with across Lewis, Maine, Lewis North, and McCord Field, and all of the activities we have going on through all of the directorates and all of the amazing MWR activities we have going on. And this stuff happens because you guys have put interest into it. You've checked up. You've signed up yourselves and your families. And so I look forward to the great update. And I think we're going to kick it off with some recognition first, right? Yep. Thank you.
No, but that's yours. So, yeah. We doing the honor guard first? Yeah. Okay. So as our first group of awardees make their way into the room, as you can see, it's a long procession. We have soldiers who volunteered to support the Idaho National Guard during the month of June with military funeral honors. And in recognition to that, the Adjutant General of Idaho has sent a letter of thanks, which I will read. Each soldier will receive this letter. For your support to Military Funeral Honors mission in the state of Idaho from 22 May to 25 June 2019 is sincerely appreciated. The majority of the Idaho Army National Guard supported or participated in the National Training Center rotation 1908 at Fort Irwin, California. Therefore, they were not able to perform the important task of honoring our soldiers at their funeral muster. On behalf of the many families who found solace and closure as a result of the funeral ceremonies you performed, thank you. Your willingness to provide support is great credit to your commitment and sense of duty, and is keeping with the highest traditions of military service, and reflects great credit upon yourself, your unit, and the United States Army. Best regards, Michael Garshak, Major General, the Adjutant General, Commander, Idaho National Guard.
55 total ceremonies, saying farewell to the soldiers, airmen, sailors, Marines, for those families throughout Idaho and Oregon, that these guys all participated in 55 ceremonies and saying the last farewell. That is amazingly meaningful for the families. So thank you guys for the dedication. And a couple of you guys mentioned that it was an honor to do it. I appreciate that. And I appreciate, because I'm from Idaho, personally, I appreciate you taking care of the state. So thank you guys very much.
Good morning. I am proud to present Sergeant Kalikiki from Madigan. She works in the Department of Emergency Medicine. And today we're recognizing her for her diligent volunteer hours, 200 hours outside of the duty of JBLM Jensen Family Fitness Center and the 1-2 Ghost Brigade as a cultural enrichment instructor for over 100 different military personnel and their families. Sergeant K is dedicated, rehearsed, and coordinates successful cultural events and presentations for multiple brigades and outreach communities, festivals, and formal ceremonies. She has 11 under her belt. Her main objective is to teach students of all ages the importance of learning how others need to live, how others need to celebrate, and how all of our differences can come together. We are proud to present her today in front of you. Congratulations. We're very proud of you. Madigan.
So Sergeant K.E. Iliki, I was reading through her accomplishments of all the classes she taught, the dance classes, I read through a couple of little blurbs that some of the people that attended, how thankful they were for your teaching all of those different classes and the cultural enrichment and the sharing with all the different units that you shared with. So thank you so much. The volunteerism is a very meaningful part. And that's in addition to your full-time duties. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thanks, John K. Thank you.
All right, we got Sergeant Lim. I got this one.
Okay.
Here's the coin.
Okay.
Is this on? How's everybody doing? All right, come on out, Sergeant Lim. Does everybody know Sergeant Lim? If not, Sergeant Lim is the boss president, or former boss president, as of officially today. All right? So Sergeant Lim has been the boss president for 1 year. She comes from 1-2 Brigade, correct?
Wow, Sergeant.
So another 1-2 Brigade. When I first got to JBLM, sat down with the boss team. This was before the housing crisis and the barracks crisis. Sergeant Lim's team sat me down, gave me a brief on the single soldier program. One of the slides they produced was barracks issues. On the barracks issues, hot water. Hot water issues, what was a couple of the other issues?
It was also ACs.
ACs, hot waters, ACs, and heat, because the heat stays on constantly in the wintertime, and the ACs, no AC in the summertime. And then all of a sudden, about 2 weeks later, the housing issue hit. I already had some of the issues. So they caught me up to speed before I even knew about the housing issue or the barracks issue thing going to happen. Ms. McCullough is our 2-star equivalent that oversees us from MCOM. She said that Sergeant Lim and her boss team was the best boss team that's underneath her command. got the best briefing that she's ever received from any boss team the entire time she's been there. They go out, they brief commanders, sergeant majors, they get single soldiers, events going, all because of the boss president and the rest of the boss team and Bill and MWR and everybody else that helps out. We have thousands of volunteers throughout the units too. They coordinate it, all the individuals volunteer and make it happen. Right? The reason Sergeant Lim's up here is not only because she's been here a year, but she got the boss president of the year for every installation in the Army. So on behalf of General Becker and Sergeant Major Judkins, we're presenting her the Boss President Trophy of the Year. We're also giving her her brigade coin, and we're relieving her of her duties as the Boss President of the Year. The new Boss President will be given a brief today. So thank you and congratulations.
You can feel free to back him up and maybe throw things if he messes up any specific key talking points that you've been trying to get through for the past year. Watch out. Thank you again to Sergeant Kaylee Iliki and Sergeant Lamb for thank you so much for, again, the volunteerism, the attention to taking care of quality of life for our airmen and our soldiers. And I appreciate y'all coming again. Let's kick this thing off. Anything else? Okay. Next, we're handing it off to General Graham for introductory comments.
Good morning, everybody. So, running around post this morning, there was a lot fewer moving trucks that I had to dodge. So I think we're getting closer and closer to having the new team set. For everybody that has never been to one of these before, to include our amazing new garrison commander, Colonel Duncan, raise your hand. Raise your hand up if you've never been to one of these before. All right. So we've got a whole bunch of new team members here. So this forum is an amazing forum which we draw on to keep this streak of wonderfulness happen. The streak of wonderfulness is the fact that this joint base is, I think, at the very top of most soldiers and airmen's list of where they want to go serve. Some of it's location, some of it's our neighbors, but most of it is what you all do day in and day out. As we saw with Boss Team and the volunteer hours, that this is just an amazing place to be because of the love and care that you all put into this. So for all who raised their hand, you're now stewards of that amazingness. And this meeting that we do is a key nexus where we can kind of stitch together needs and all the phenomenal work that the people do over there from the garrison that are here to support you. So if you got any questions about how this place works, how to get involved, how to keep that wonderfulness happening, please come on up and see Sky, see me, and we'll point you in the right direction. But again, for everybody who's new, welcome to this amazing team. Thank you.
Excellent. Good morning. General Graham, Ms. Valesky, thank you for having us. A couple weeks ago, we celebrated the 20th anniversary of the arrival of the first C-17 here at McCord Field. And that was a very big deal to us. We rededicated that same tail number 0052, had several aerial demos, and it was a fantastic event. The reason that's a big deal to us is because for the last 20 years, that green McCord tail flash on the back of these C-17s has struck fear in the hearts of Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, ISIS, and the airmen that load those airplanes, generate those airplanes, and operate them. But it's also that same tail flash has delivered hope to people, citizens of the globe, suffering from natural disasters, hurricanes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions. That green tail flash has brought blankets and fuel and food to help people in need. And so it's very special for us to pause. Why do I bring that up this morning? It's because for 20 of those years, we've been a joint base. And so I just wanted to thank all the directorates in here for allowing us to continue for the last 10 years and 20 years since we've had the C-17 of delivering that combat airlift. Because it doesn't matter if we're designed as an Air Force, organized as an Air Force base, or a joint base. Those enemies still need to see that green tail flash, and so do those people in need. And so I just want to thank in this forum everyone that in the joint base and all the directorates that make that possible, because we can't stop doing what we're doing because of the way we're organized. And so to Colonel Duncan and Victoria, thank you. I wanted to welcome you guys to the team. I've had a chance to meet Sky and his family. You know, we say inside our wing that when we do swap out changes of commands, we don't rebuild, we simply reload, and we've definitely reloaded with you and your family. I'm really looking forward to working together. So thanks to everyone for all your assistance in executing our mission on the Air Force side. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Steve Parnell, Director of Public Works. I'm going to go over some roads and constructions. I've been here 16 years, and the bridge that goes from Pendleton, from Lewis, Maine to Lewis North under I-5 has been hit at least once every single year and up to 4 times. So I recommended painting it bright orange or something so people could see it, but that didn't pass. So what we've done is we've used high tech. We're going to have a laser beam. As you can see, if this is the bridge in I-5, we're going to have it coming in 3 different directions. It's been hit by moving vans. It's been hit by military vehicles. So this thing will be extremely loud. So if a military vehicle, crosses under it, it's going to be extremely loud. Make sure the operator does not hit the bridge. So hopefully we'll hit an FY that we don't hit the bridge. It's not only a safety issue for the vehicle or the bridge, but also potential people if you've got a crew member or crew chief sitting outside the vehicle. So what it basically does is it's got a laser beam here, as you can see there. Next slide, please. This is the log center. We're going to close this gravel road permanently just because we have a lot of mobilization, demobilizations going to NTC, JRTC, and it kind of interrupts the operation, so we're going to close that. It's not used very often, should not have any impact. And all these roads that I'm talking about are all Lewis. There's not any disruption right now, planned disruptions on any roads on McCord. Next slide, please. Again, this is the parade field, the training area, 1st Brigade over here. We've got what we're doing is we've been doing this all summer long is we're repairing the crossing of the road over railroad tracks. They're falling apart. Next slide, please. And again, right over here, same place. Next slide, please. This is Liggett that runs along the parade field and all the historic areas. We're trying to save money or extend the money that we have as far as possible. So instead of replacing roads, what we're doing is we're using crack sealant and we're patching. So we're going to be patching this, as you can see, starting next week for about 2 weeks. It will remain open, but there'll be flaggers, and we're going to have 1 lane closed probably at all times doing the work, so it's going to slow down traffic. So if you're coming in the morning, it's probably okay because they haven't started working, but if you're leaving in the evening from Lewis to go out to I-5, you probably ought to use Pendleton or somewhere else other than Liggett. Next slide, please. 1st Brigade, Stryker Brigade area, they're aware of this, the work area here that goes until 26 September. Red and blue are just detours, but if you're in the 1st Brigade and use these roads, you already know it by now. Next slide. Delta Block, again, it's still coming down. It's going to be coming totally down by the end of November. And again, some of these are 75 years old, a lot of history there. We've probably got about 25% of it done now. Next slide. And the last one, we are patching and crack sealant all the historic area parking lots. We're not going to close any of the parking lots, but we are going to close portions of all those parking lots. So we'll lose parking spaces, and I know there's lack of parking. Next slide, I think that's my last one. Okay. And I will be followed by. If there's any questions, I'll be here afterwards if you want to catch me.
Thank you so much. Ma'am, sir, teammates, good to be here again. Colonel Tom Bunt, Commander, Madigan Army Medical Center, member of this great team. I hope you all noticed when you came in today the paper, right? Did anyone please tell me you picked this up, all right? Because you're not going to see this at a medical installation anywhere in the United States. Let's give a round of applause for Madigan Pharmacy, okay? It should say like Dewey wins or something like that on here, right? Because it's unheard of. And I will tell you that because I've done this a couple times, as many of us in here probably have. And you don't hear the words 20-minute wait when you talk about a pharmacy. Because last year, around this time, you could order pizza and wait for your prescription to come in, right? Folks were struggling. Folks were trying to overcome these challenges, and I think it's important that we take a note of how far they've come because this team deserves a lot of credit for the work they've done. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So we're going to talk about a little bit of prevention because it's the immunization awareness time set again. We do not yet have our stockage yet of flu vaccinations. These will come, and we will popularize this and put this out in mass streaming media and all that. And we'll talk about that a little bit at the end so you know where to find it. But we'll push this information out, as well as where you can get it if you're not going to get it on the installation and things like that for TRICARE covered locations, just like we always do. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, we've got school physicals, and we've also got ways to kind of get to the left of this problem. Point. Do not call to schedule a school physical the day before football practice. Okay, just a note to self, right? That's bad parenting 101, right? And this kid is guilty of all these kind of things. Trust me, I've made this mistake many times. It's like using the pharmacy at lunchtime, probably not the best idea you've had, okay? So with that, when you call this number and you want to make an appointment for your kids for school physicals, you can do that at their actual school, at 10 such schools on our school-based health system. You'd call this number. These schools have different days and different times for these appointments, but they can do these physicals right there at the school. No, the kids don't like it because they don't get a day off of school, but you should love it, right? And this is a way to get in when it's a difficult season with PCS, when we have access challenges in primary care. So please take advantage of it. You call this number, and there's a particular, I can't remember the exact code, which number that is. Number 3, Jay, is that what that is? Number 3, when you hit number 3 and I'll bring you to that appointment, you can make an appointment right at that school. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, this is the shock and awe. All right, this is my shock and awe slide. It's like, whoa, MHS Genesis, you got to have eyes jetting out of their heads. But this is good news because not only is it easier now to get to the portal has some updates and things like that, premium access and things like that. I encourage everyone to take a look at it. It continues to get better and better and better. And the reason it is because of feedback from you folks and from the team, right? From the 110,000 enrolled beneficiaries we've taken that information, we've put that up, and they've made some really strategic and high-level changes to this system that you need to take advantage of. And when you go into this system, you can look at things you haven't been able to see before, you can talk to your provider, and then you can start that conversation. This is a really good news story. This is the replacement for Relay Health, right? So as people come to post and they can't get Relay Health or TRICARE online, this is the replacement. Next slide, please. We talk about PHAs a little bit. We just talk about it because it's kind of that season, a huge PCS season. If you're wondering, you're coming in new to the post or somebody's coming in to replace you, make sure they're kind of getting up to date. This is a good time to get well and get healthy before they get started on their mission. And of course, we kind of go over evaluation and screening. Then, several of you probably don't know that a lot of the members who are going to be servicing you today in Madigan and across our massive footprint, we're actually up into the wee hours of the morning conducting a massive SRP operation, second to none, the largest ever conducted on this installation of 1,800 people in a single day, right? Next time, bring a friend, sir. Next time, bring a friend, because we'll knock him down, too. But what's impressive about this is the dental folks as well. So I wanted to do a shout out for the dental folks who set up chairs and actually did exams, some of them about 10 o'clock at night. You ever had a dental exam at 10 o'clock in the evening? It's pretty interesting, right? What did they have to eat today, right? So they did dental exams, and they killed hundreds of Category 4 folks, made them deployable in that same evening. Let's give a big round of applause for the dentists, right? Incredible. Incredible. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. And we have some challenges, of course, with underlap because of PCS season, right? So we like to popularize that, like to be transparent and say it's a little difficult sometimes to get access during this time of year. I'm down a lot of providers. We do have a lot of help coming, so do not fear. They do have some build-up for MHS Genesis training, which is a little bit longer than it was for Alta, because when they came from other installations, they already have been using Alta for years, right? Nobody had been using MHS Genesis, and that's just trying to be transparent. It's about a 4 to 6 week build-up for those folks, but they're doing the best they can to try to mitigate that, and any issues we can manage at our level as well. Just wanted to be openly and transparent with that. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, OBGYN changes. We do have some with our patient portal. But you can speak directly with an OB nurse, right? This is kind of a newfangled thing, a new update to that, and the same-day response for a pregnancy concern. But making appointments through OB is kind of a new way of doing business, so that way folks, when they don't have to walk in, they can do it through a structured program, and it's been working pretty well. It just started just the other week. And we're going to do a litmus test to see how well this works and see if we can kind of continue this or if we have to change and evolve along the way. All for that type of season. We do about 5 births a day. For anyone who's wondering, about 175 babies a month. This is a troop-producing platform in more ways than one, okay? So a lot of needs for our pregnant beneficiaries. Let's go to the next slide, please. Of course, we got the heat. Now, you're thinking it's like Washington State heat. Are you kidding? Well, there's no air conditioning in like 95% of the homes in the state, and sometimes it gets a little warm, right? Gets a little toasty. Open one window and the other. Yeah, good luck with that. Hope you enjoy that. That breeze is non-existent. Sometimes you get fooled in this environment, right? The woods and things like that in this state keep heat in, unlike other states that, well, long ago burned up their trees, like Texas, right? So when it's 80 degrees here, it's like 95 degrees here in terms of feeling. So make sure we're talking about hydration, and Monster drinks and heavily caffeinated drinks, and those things are not hydration materials. Please pass it on to families and such. And anybody who has any kind of questions, you see them walk around drinking a coffee, say, I just can't hydrate, you're probably going the wrong way, okay? Let's go to the next slide. And then lastly, to follow Madigan and ask any kind of questions you have, this is a great opportunity. We've got incredible media, right? I told you about this SRP operation that happened yesterday and last night. Well, it's already in the paper today, right? You don't get faster than that. So I got my press here. I got Jay Ebbetson, who I give a really hard time to. So I'd like to give a credit to Jay Ebbetson and his team from the PAO office, because nobody publishes the news before we're done with the SRP, but they did. So let's give them a big round of applause. It's incredible. Let's go to the next slide. And I'm going to go home and frame this, so pending any questions, sir, that's all I got for you. Hoa? All right. Who's up?
Good morning, everybody. Alicia Grady, Director of Personnel and Family Readiness. Pleased to announce that on September 10th, we have Mr. Herschel Walker coming here. I believe this is his third or fourth time, I'm told, to JBLM, so we're pleased to bring him back. We're going to have two sessions, one at 9 a.m. on Cary Theater, and then one at 1300 on McCord Theater. This is in conjunction with Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month, which is in September, but we know here at JBLM, we recognize suicide awareness and prevention all year round, not just during the month of September, but a great opportunity. Please, send your service members, send your families. This is an open event. There will be time at the end of each of these sessions to sign autographs, to do a quick meet and greet, handshake with Mr. Walker. So we're really pleased to be hosting them. And then on September 11th, I'm working with Madigan that he will also be doing a session at Madigan, and we have arranged also for him to do a private session at our Warrior Transition Battalion, and then also an exciting afternoon at one of our teen centers with Child and Youth Services, and that location will be announced to you shortly. So please take advantage of the opportunity with him coming here. Want to let you know about our annual Career Summit. This is a big event for us every year for your transitioning service members. We highly recommend and encourage you to allow your service members who are transitioning to participate. Day one of this event has a series of different workshops. The key highlight of this one is the LinkedIn Military Workshop. We have none other than previous Garrison Commander Chuck Hodges, who now works for Hiring Our Heroes with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, who puts this event on for us. If you haven't seen it or been to it, it's quite an event that we have with hundreds and hundreds of participants. And then day two is the career fair. We have registered over 150 employers in the area that are hiring. And also, then we typically have anywhere upward to 2,000 service members from the area that will participate in that. So please, attendance is open to anyone. And then finally, just a reminder, probably about 10 months ago, we implemented an appointment system at our ID card section. This has been an incredible asset to this section, because we have watched our ICE comments that have been normally negative go to a lot of positive because of implementing this system. So if you don't have an urgent need for ID cards, please make an appointment, because you will get through a lot quicker, and it saves a lot of time. And these are done both on Lewis, Maine at Waller Hall, and also in Building 100 on McCord. And anyone have any questions for me? Okay. And there you go.
Good morning. I'm Kathy, Sustainability Outreach Coordinator for Directorate of Public Works. And I'm talking to you about car washing today. We want to make sure there's only rain going down the drain here on JBLM. You can use the MWR Autocraft shops or wash at a commercial car wash. We're pretty strict with our MS4 permit for stormwater, and we want to make sure everybody's aware that there should only be fresh water going down the drain. Also on your tables, I want to make you aware that I left the drinking water reports. These are the 2018 drinking water reports, just showing all the drinking water here on JBLM is clean. That information is also available online. Next slide, please. Recycling centers, there's 2 recycling centers on JBLM. We can take all kinds of things there that you can't necessarily recycle at home. I know they've made some changes and through the LeMay system, so when you're getting your garbage and recycling picked up as you're living in housing, if it's open, there should be some, you don't need to pack it that tight. Bring recyclables to the recycling center and thin that stuff out. Also, household hazardous waste. If you're living here on JBLM, we will take your household hazardous waste there, or also at Building 1210, our Environmental Services Building. On the back of that flyer that's on your table, there are other locations if you're living off post that you can drop that stuff. But one thing is for sure, don't dump it down the drain. Next slide, please. The Go Lewis McCord program is all running a shuttle all over JBLM. It runs every 20 minutes. Part of our program is the bike share and also van pools. So if you're living off post or if you have people in your unit that maybe you can hook up and join a van pool, let's put some van pools together and save everybody a little bit of money. You get $265 as a mass transit benefit package, and that's for active military and DoD civilians. So again, join a van pool. Save the wear and tear on your vehicle, and share the ride. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Good morning, I'm Beth Wilson. I am the housing chief and I work for DPW. I wanted to remind the families that are living on JBLM that our partner Lincoln is having their annual block party back to school this month. These are the dates and the areas that they're going to be having it. This is a free event for all the families that live here. They are going to be having food, games, DJs, prizes. There'll even be Starbucks there for those that you'd like that. Families that have school-age children can register for free school supplies. They're also going to be giving out raffles. If you are a lucky winner, you will receive a super backpack, and it will have a tablet, headphones, and a bunch of other prizes in there. Again, this is free, it's fun for all, and they want you all to attend. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Can family members that are waiting for housing participate?
Actually, you can, but you won't be able to register for the school supplies. It's for families that are actually living in housing. Are you, how far out are you? Okay. Yeah, because what they do is, the reason why they have families sign up for the school supplies is they want to ensure that those families are actually living in housing. Yeah. Any other questions?
Good morning, Kelly Wetzel with MWR. So as you can see, this slide is slam-packed with stuff to do in the next month. Starting off with Yappy Hour. We're bringing that back to the Sam Adams over at the Cascade Club. If you've got a dog, they need to go out, take them out with you. It's a fun event. They'll have free stuff for the dogs to eat. They are talking about having free food for the humans to eat. So it's just a fun time for you to go and hang out with other people who have dogs. Then we've got the flea market coming up. PCS season. You get here and you realize you maybe don't need that summer stuff anymore, or you're going to need some winter clothes because it's coming. Try the flea market. If you've got household goods that you don't think you're going to need, or household goods that you're looking for, somebody probably is trying to sell those. Come to the flea market. Lots of opportunities to buy and sell some really cool stuff out there. And then the luau. We're bringing the luau back to the club here. We've got Polynesian dancers. We've got slack key guitar performer. Great food. We're going to do a Kahlua pig. So you can come out for a great time on the 24th, and they'll actually take your reservations in the office here on your way out if you'd like to do that. And then some of the things coming up. End of summer inventory blowout at the Northwest Adventure Center. You can pick up some of that outdoor gear you've been eyeing for the summer. Maybe get a good deal on it that way. The Family Outdoor Cinema will be here in the lawn at the club. They're showing the original Toy Story. And there will also be food and beverages for purchase that night, and we've got some entertainment. If you want to get out early and scope out your spot, you can do that. Bring your lawn chairs, bring your blankets, and come out and have a good time with your family. UFC 41 is on tap for the 17th of August, and that'll be shown at all 3 locations. The Parent Caddy Golf Jamboree is out at the Whispering Firs Golf Course this year. And so if you've got a junior golfer in your family and you would like to go out and take them, it's a fun thing. It's always fun to watch the kids as they golf and their parents caddy for them for that tournament. Wine and Canvas, and then the Avengers Movie Night out at the Warrior Zone. And then I've got a late edition coming in. So the Pacific Pathways Triathlon, we are still going to run that this year. If you've got somebody who finds that training for a triathlon in 10 days is their thing, the triathlon is the 17th of August. So it's a 500-meter swim, 14-mile bike ride, and a 5K run. So you can give them a call, register. The phone number to register is 966-1156, and you can get in on that. They've got swag bags and T-shirts and medals, so it should be a good time. Next slide, please. So this is a really cool event. If you've ever watched late night talk shows and you see Adam Driver, who's Kylo Ren in the Star Wars movies, he has started a nonprofit called Arts in the Armed Forces, and he takes readings of plays out to different military bases. So they are coming to JBLM this week on the 8th. We will have free pizza and beverage for the first 100 adults, so it's 18 and older who come through the door. It's for 18 and older only. We've got some actors. You may recognize them from different movies and TV shows that they've been on, but they come out and basically read a play on stage, and you get to see it that way. And then they take a Q&A session afterwards. So it's a really cool thing that we've been able to get them to come to the base. And the next slide. And that's a rundown of the fun stuff we've got coming up in September and October. Some of the highlights are the Wine and Jazz Festival. It's coming back here to the McCord Club on the 14th. And then we celebrate Oktoberfest like nobody else can out at the MWR Fest tent on Lewis, Maine in September on the 21st. Then in October, the Zombie Apocalypse Run is coming back. So start running. We need either runners or we can have some volunteer zombies. So you decide which you would like to do. We also have the Harvest Fest at the Youth Center coming up on the 19th of October. A couple of Commander's Cup championships coming up, the 5K and also the swim meet. And then at the bottom there's the Theatrical Nightmare, is a Bost fundraiser that they do every year. It's out at Shoreline Park, and it is super scary. But they also have one for the kids that's not so scary, but keep that in mind, put that on your calendar. Any questions? Great. Go out and have a good time. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. So, as was introduced earlier, I am Sergeant Agel Schuckman, the new boss president as of today, but I would also like to introduce the rest of my team so everybody can see who the new faces are. So this is Specialist Griggs, my vice president, and Senior Airman Hine, our Air Force representative for McCord. Thank you. All right, so what did BOSS do for last month? So our community service, we were able to go out to Suits for Service members out over in Steilacoom, where we folded up suits for all the transitioning soldier members who are getting out. It's always a great blast. They're really thankful for us to come out there. Next slide, please. Recreation and leisure, we did several events. So we had horseback riding, spelunking, and we also had, back on the 1st, Single Service Member Day, which was this installation-wide event held over on Lewis North for all these single service members. It was a great blast. We had 1,300 attendees. Thank you, everyone who was able to send your service members out there. We had a great time, lots of prizes, lots of fun activities. Next slide, please. What we have coming up for August, we have our August kayaking, we have another Suits for Service member activity. We have an escape room over on the 24th, so we'll be doing that for 2 hours. We'll be going out to the Washington Veterans Transitional Home and White River rafting at the end of the month for the 4-day. That's going to be a 3-day, 2-night activity. Next slide, please. Nope, and then that's anything. Barring any questions, we will be here for the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
I have a question.
Yes, Sergeant Major, how can I assist?
How many boss representatives are you short?
I am currently short 2 for the team right now, Sergeant Major.
All right, thanks.
No problem, Sergeant Major.
That seemed rehearsed. It wasn't. Good morning. I'm Chaplain Brandt. I'm the Garrison Chaplain. We've got a lot of great events coming up from our religious support operations folks. The first one is our Back to School Bash. Our gospel congregation over at Grace Gospel on Lewis North hosts that. That is coming up this Saturday. So at 10, well, they're setting up at 10 o'clock, but at 12 o'clock they're going to kick it off. Last year we had a great showing last year. They gave out over 600 backpacks, school supplies for children on our joint. So lots of activities, school supplies, just a great outreach for our community. Going to be at Lewis North. Carnival games, food, school supplies. Also, we have our Mothers of Preschoolers, also known as MOPS, that is kicking off as well. They meet twice a month on Mondays, and the times are there. The contact person is there to figure out which Monday actually it is. You probably need to call and connect with Montel. So that is going on as well. Next slide, please. We're going to be kicking off our Awanas. That's a worker that needs not be ashamed. That's what that stands for. And these are great Bible programs that help get introduced to Scripture. We're going to be doing a combined event this year. Last year it was at both locations on McCord and on Lewis, Maine. But because of size and there's some construction issues on the Religious Support Center at McCord, we're combining everything at Lewis, Maine this year. Kickoff date is 8 September. There's going to be some orientation in August. We need some volunteers. So if you'd like to volunteer to come and help these children get to know Scripture and grow in their faith, it helps you too. Adults get some great spiritual resiliency training as they help their children through these processes as well. So a great parent-child event as well. Next slide. We also have 2 camp opportunities that are approaching. The last 2 are 12 to 16 August and 19 to 23 August. This is a great event. We're partnering with Black Diamond down in Auburn, Washington. It's about 40 minutes away. We'll provide transportation if you don't want to or can't. We just need to get the registration in. They have very graciously, they're very, very military friendly. They've offered 75% discount. So normally it would cost a child $235 for a week of day camp. They brought it down to $58 just for our military kids. If you have soldiers that have lots of kids and need some additional help, our office at the Religious Support Office are willing to provide some additional scholarships as well. Just need to contact our person in charge of that, POC, and Mr. Jim Freitag. His email is on there as well. Pending any questions, that's all we have at this time. Next.
Hello, my name is Siobhan, and I work for the Joint Personal Property Shipping Office over at Building 9501 on Rainier here, well, over on Fort Lewis. The Joint Personal Property Shipping Office is considered the back office of household goods, so we're not the counselors, we're the ones that book your household goods shipments. Next slide. A successful move is not a matter of chance, it is the result of planning and hard work. At the center of these efforts is you, the customer. If you expect a good move, you must play an active role. That statement is a very true statement because as a customer, you need to take personal responsibility in your move. Because a lot of times customers don't, and you know, there's a lot of factors to the household goods moves from when it leaves to it getting to its destination. Next slide. The type of moves we do are DPM, local moves, household good domestic, household good non-temp storage, unaccompanied baggage, household good international, and OTOs. I would like to touch on household good non-temp storage releases because those are the moves when you put your household goods in non-temp storage and when you get back and you want them released, you need to know that in order for them to release your household goods and ship it, you have to have an address. And not only have an address, but you also have to have keys in hand. Because although there is an RDD, your shipment can get there anytime from the time that it is released until the RDD, and you have to be able to receive your shipment at any point during that time frame because you will not be authorized to sit in transit. Peak season, we wanted to touch on peak season. So you, the customer, you go over, you can either self-counsel or visit your PIPO office, which ours over here, we have one on McCord, and there's the one at Waller Hall on Fort Lewis. If you self-counsel, ensure that you contact your local PIPO office to make sure that your shipment actually went through, because not all of them work out of a queue. Some of them work through emails, and at the end of your self-counsel, you'll see that there's a message that states, please contact your local PIPO office. Once you go to PIPO and you build your shipment, PIPO goes ahead and pushes it through, and then it goes into our route queue. We're considered the back office. We go ahead and we route and award your shipment, whether it be through DPM, Local Move, Household Goods, and then we send it off to the TSP. When you go in and on your 1299 where you put your requested pickup date and requested pack date and delivery date, that's exactly what it is. It is requested. It does not guarantee that your household goods are going to be picked up on that day or delivered that day. It's all a matter of whether the transportation companies have the availability, because they don't only work for the military, they also have, commercial shipments that they do. Your dates are not locked in until you have come to an agreement with the transportation company, because they can receive your shipment and then they may contact you personally and say, hey, well, can we change your dates to this day or that day? And once you come to an agreement with them, that is when your dates are locked in. After that, most correspondence, and pretty much all correspondence, will be between yourself and the transportation company, unless you have any issues or concerns. But other than that, all the correspondence goes back and forth between them. For peak season, this has been a rough peak season this year, and I just want to touch on some of your alternative considerations. During peak season, if we cannot get your shipment picked up in time, you do have the option to do a PPM, which is moving it yourself. If your dates are not flexible and you just cannot do that, there is, and we cannot, and we have exhausted all of our means, there is the option of a non-availability letter. The non-availability allows you to get three quotes from a shipping company, and they'll come ahead, you pay them, they'll pick up your stuff, ship it for you, and then the military will, basically the Army will go ahead and reimburse you. Next slide. Customer responsibility. We cannot stress enough on customer responsibility. Customers need to take personal responsibility for their household goods shipment. Weights. A lot of things that we have seen with weights is ProGear. Know what you're entitled. When the transportation company goes over to pack your household goods, make sure that they're weighing the ProGear, because a lot of times they're not weighing the ProGear. You sign the inventory sheets where it says that you are verifying this is what you have and this is what you do not have. And we get a lot of service members coming back stating, hey, they didn't annotate my ProGear. It's not annotated on my my inventory sheet. Well, you signed it verifying that that's what was there and that's what they shipped. Special requests, grandfather clocks, trunks, anything that you may have a special request for that may need a third party to come disassemble or reassemble. Make sure you let them know when they come to do your pre-move survey that you do have such items. Crating is another thing. There are certain things that can be crated. Contact information, ensure that your contact information is updated. If it changes from any time when you leave origin and get to destination, please contact. You can contact GIPSO, you can contact the TSP to update your contact information. If you have releasing agents, make sure that their information is also updated. Retirees and separatees. The only thing we want to touch on those is just the difference in the entitlements, which really you'll get that from your counseling office, is for non-temp storage releases, for retirees they get a year, and separatees you only get 180 days. And those are mainly because after that then it will convert over to members' expense. Next slide. Any questions? Thank you.
Good morning. Mike Cruz from Accord Commissary. Just letting you know we're having our semi-annual sidewalk warehouse sale on August 16th to 19th. There's also a tent sale from the 14th to the 17th, so it's two sales, one outside, one inside. Next slide. This one's for Fort Lewis. They're having their September sale 27th to the 30th. Same deal, different products if you're on the Lewis side. Any questions? Thank you.
Good morning. Rico Mendiola for the Exchange. Here we have some of our events that are coming up at both Lewis and McCord main exchanges. Both locations are going to be hosting the Play-Doh events and the back-to-school beauty events. All of our events here listed and any future ones will be, any details will be loaded on our JBLM Exchange Facebook page and advertised in our stores. One update for the book signing that's coming up on the 22nd of August that has changed slightly is the time. Instead of 1,100 to 1,300 hours, it will now be from 1,700 to 1,900 hours. And that will be U.S. Army Ranger Matt Best, his upcoming book for Thank You for My Service. We also have a LG TV demo, and that'll be on the 24th. And our back-to-school fashion show, which will also be on the 24th. We are looking for models to participate along with our exchange staff. So any ages, if anybody's interested, please see us at the manager's office and sign up. One added bonus is that we do offer discounts on the outfits that the models wear. So that could be an incentive. Up to 30% off of all selected school supplies. This has been advertised in all of our weekly flyers, so please keep up with that. At our McCord Main Exchange, they have a firearm sale that is going to be happening from the 16th to 17th. It's going to be 10% off all firearms that are in stock, with an additional 5% if you use your STAR card, your military STAR card. If you do not have one, please see us. We can help you sign up for one. All right, next slide, please. Angry Bird Movie 2. This is going to have its first run starting on 14 August. So please bring your families and come see us. Next slide, please. And the Lewis Main Exchange, if you're not aware, has been undergoing quite a bit of a construction and expansion. We've been making great progress on this, so we are looking at December of this year to have the military clothing and sales and the Class 6 stores turned over to us, and that'll be on the south side of the building. On the east side, which is the front entrance, we should be seeing our new food court and the new mall area with the concessions open up to us in January of 2020. Then we'll start on the remodeling of the inside of the main store, which should be complete hopefully by August of 2020. Any questions? No? All right, thank you.
Hello, I'm Jamie Lynn with the Lewis Community Spouses Club. I put a brochure on most of the tables. If you don't have one, I have more. Please take a picture of this and share this with your spouses. We are an all-ranks social nonprofit organization here on JBLM. Our next event of the year is our annual Super Sign Up coming up. I had two different dates on my slide last month, and I was like, I don't know why people keep asking me about these two different dates. That was my fault. It is August 18th at the Sam Adams Eagles Pride, and then our first luncheon, I did put those flyers out on your table as well. We're having a pineapple party, stand tall, wear your crown, be sweet on the inside, in September, and then here in the middle are some of our other events that we have coming up. If you have any questions, please let me know. I do want to plug we have Operation Deploy Your Dress. We have the largest chapter of ODYD here at JBLM. We gave out over 400 ball gowns last year. Operation Deploy Your Dress it's a free ball gown for all DoD card holders. So that is the moms when we need one to go to our balls. But your teenage children can come, if they have an ID, they can come get a homecoming or a prom dress as well. Doesn't matter what your spouse's rank, your dad's rank is. All DoD cardholders are entitled to that. This summer, we graciously were given 3 boxes of donations from a boutique that closed up in Seattle. Excuse me. These were brand new this season, not 1980 shoulder pad dresses. They're really pretty. Our inventory, we're getting new donations all the time. And my last plug, we also have an event rental shop. So when we have these farewells that have been happening all summer, we have welcomes coming in, we have coffees, FRG events, we have tables, we have chairs, we have linens, we have table decor, themed, non-themed, we have a ton of stuff. That information you can find on our website or in our brochure. Lewis Community Spouses Club.
What time is the super sign up?
10 to 2. Thank you.
All right, thank you again. Rico from AAFES. You probably don't want me as one of your models, but I am available if needed. I think that time slot, Victoria can confirm, I think that time slot's open. I'm here for you if you need me, man. A couple things we didn't cover in here, we went through the AIE transition, the automated installation entry transition on 1 August. It's gone smoothly so far, but I do want to poll the audience. Has anybody been at the gate way longer than you thought? And can you tell me which gates?
It was yesterday at the board meeting, coming back from lunch, 30 minutes in line to get in the gate.
Okay.
I was at 12:30 getting into line, didn't get on base till after 1.
Okay. All right, thank you. McCord, okay, thank you. McCord Main Gate. Another one?
The Madigan Gate. And the Madigan Gate appears to always not be properly staffed for the surges of the rush hour. So 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and there's backed up traffic on I-5.
Okay. Do you know how much of it, please educate me, do you know how much of that is due to the construction on the bridge and everything, or is it,
No, it's the fact that there's single soldiers on each lane, or that they're not moving very fast, and that they know very well that they are backed up at the bridge.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay.
I believe it's the East Gate. That's by Meriwether.
Okay.
I waited 30 minutes to get on post for PT.
Okay. And this is after the transition? This is after this?
That was
4 days
yesterday,
ago?
sir.
Oh, yesterday, okay. All right, thank you. Okay. All right. I appreciate those tips. We're still working on this, as you know. This is a big Army-wide transition to this system. We are leading the way on it. JBLM does lead the way in a lot of things. So we'll still work through that. Thank you for those tips. We'll dig into that. Speaking of leading the way, Colonel Tom Bunton didn't mention that MHS Genesis pilot, he may have mentioned this in a long time in the past, MAMC was the pilot for that, and one of the major pilots for that, and now they're rolling that out much more broadly, so congratulations to you guys for that. By the way, can we go back to Colonel Bunt's slide on heat stroke? Do we have that available? What I want to say is, if we were to hide an Easter egg in this presentation next time, I'm going to do something very similar to Colonel Bunt's, and this is going to be my Easter egg. This guy ate Lucky Charms for breakfast. I like Lucky Charms. I've been pretty close to having a heat stroke before. That might have been me. I like it. Thank you. Thank you again for Ms. Grady for your talk about the transition assistance. As you all know, we have the best one in the service, in the DoD. People come here for it. We will continue that, and thank you. So we will continue to look forward to progress in that. Another new thing we have coming to JBLM, primarily for soldiers right now. I don't know if DoD is going to roll this out wider right now for soldiers on the base. The Healthy Army Communities campus-style dining is going to be piloted here. A small selection of soldiers as a pilot for the rest of the Army. So some of you might see that coming. If you hear about it, it's essentially campus-style dining. You get a card and you're able to go to multiple places. The details are not 100% worked out yet. It is a pilot, but just know that is coming, and we are working across through MWR, through AAFES, through DECA, through all these people to make sure that this goes into place. Thank you for your support to all the MWR activities, and thank you for the briefing, all the massive amount of MWR activities. You know, we have one of the only theaters remaining in the DoD because you all support it, and so it stays open. One of 3, I believe. So that's just an example of how involved we are as a joint base, the soldiers and the airmen on this base, supporting the MWR activities, and that returns by more activities. So thank you for the opportunity to participate in all those activities. Please continue to go out there and support. And the last plug I'll give is for just sponsorship. We have, this is the high season, as Gypso briefed, of a lot of rotations, up to a third, nearly a half in some units rotating out this summer. So sponsorship is key as we bring in the airmen and the soldiers onto the base. Please ensure we assign the right people to sponsor them so you can share this type of information as well as just how to survive in the Pacific Northwest and which gates to go in and to avoid some of these lines. Sir, did you have anything, closing comments? Okay, Command Sergeant Major, did I miss anything?
Thanks, sir. I would just like to add, so we always say terminology is critical. So as we brief, us as leaders and communities and directors, remember, it's McCord Field, it's Lewis, Maine, Lewis North. There is no Fort Lewis. All right, if we're doing it at our level, then the soldiers are learning and the airmen are learning it from us. We're a joint team. All right, we got to start here and spread it across so we can become a better team. It's all about teamwork. So let's get that old terminology out of us. We've been joint for how many years? It was said at the beginning of the brief. Right? So please help us get that terminology out of our systems and spread it across. We want more soldiers coming across. The main PX on Lewis is under construction. They can come over and use the PX on McCord. A lot of them don't even know there's a PX on this side. A lot of single soldiers in the barracks don't even know there's a PX over here. We're not messaging it. We got to spread the word. Right? It's a joint team. Right? Thanks.
Okay. I have one more request. For a poll, is there something we are not covering in here that you would like to see? As you go around base, is there an activity you've said, hey, I wonder what's going on there? Thrift stores, anything like that? Please send them to us if you have those ideas. I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but if you see something, I do have a hand. Sergeant, yeah? Uh-huh. The gym, what would you like to see?
Like put out the information about what's going on in the gym, and like right now, the Wilson gym is partially shut down for constructions, and most soldiers they gotta drive to the north. To the main post to go to the gym and stuff. Put it up.
Okay, good, thank you, appreciate it. That is a solid update we can add in. Ma'am, I'm coming to you. Or you can yell super loud. Do it. Thank you. Good tip. I-5 construction updates. Yep, we have that information. We put that out via email, but thank you. That's a perfect tip. This is a good place to put it in because that's a simple, easy slide you can just read through and print off for later. Thank you. Okay. Colonel Curran, do we have nothing good? All right. Thank you all for your attendance. Have a good day.